Hey guys, welcome to the October market update. I'm Jack with Alan Sims Real Estate, and today we're going to talk about our rapidly changing market, including our interest rates that are going up. We're going to talk about an increase in inventory. We're going to talk about a decrease in the number of sales, and then of course we're going to talk about what does this mean for home values in our area. Our market update today includes all of the Woodlands, and then we're also going to include all of South Montgomery County, which is zip code 77385 and 77386. So let's jump in. And let's start with our interest rates that are just going to the moon right now. Okay, so our rising interest rates, we are currently at 6.7%. Now, last month when we did our market update, we were at 5.66%. And from there we went up a full point, which was, it's unheard of. It's so hard to predict the future. We don't even know what's happening or where it's going to go from there. So really what we're doing is we're being responsive to what the interest rates are doing, and actually so is the real estate market is being responsive to what's happening with interest rates. So one thing that we're hearing in the news, and one thing we're hearing from a lot of our colleagues is people saying, well, hey, you know what? Historically, interest rates are pretty good. And you know what? That's right. If you look at 1981 and you look at a 20% interest rate over here in 1981, we're a lot lower than we were in 1981. But I'll tell you what, guys, I was 4 years old in 1981. I wasn't buying any houses, okay? So let's look at what it looks like for people that are trying to move their families and people that are trying to buy houses right now. If we draw a straight line from 6.7% across this graph, the last time that we saw 6.7% interest rates was in about 2008. Guys, that's 14 years ago. Okay, so all of the people that have moved within the last 14 years, now the amount of, or the time of home ownership is between 5 and 7 years. So you've got people that have moved 2, maybe even 3 times in that time frame. Guys, we're accustomed to rates that are lower than 6.7%. And so that's a really, really tough pill to swallow right now. For anybody that's buying a house that has bought, a house really, if you look back at this before, like 2002, 2001, 2002, anybody that's bought a house since then, guys, it's just hard right now. It's a hard pill to swallow. And so what happens when interest rates rise? Well, the first thing that happens is the affordability of houses changes for the people that are buying houses, okay? So what's that going to do? It's going to change the demand. And so the demand is going to decrease, okay? And this is actually what we're seeing in the market right now. When demand decreases, the inventory increases. And so we're just not, our buyers aren't clearing out the inventory as quickly as they were in the past. And then what happens because of that is our days on market increases. Okay, now if I look at the rules and the laws of supply and demand, the very next thing I should see are prices coming down. And guys, that's what we're starting to see in the news. We're starting to see articles about prices coming down and there being a market correction. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit as we move through this. So we're going to start with the Woodlands segment of our update, and that is this includes all of the Woodlands. This is both Montgomery and Harris County, so all of the Woodlands. So here's our supply and demand graph. The orange are the active listings, and so that's your supply. And then the blue is going to be your number of sales, and so that's going to be your demand. And so what we're seeing is, remember last month in June, we crossed where our inventory outpaced our number of sales for the first time, back since April of 21. Okay, so what we're seeing is our sales numbers are going down, which is here. And we're seeing our listing numbers go up, which is here. Okay, so we're starting to get this gap right here. And again, laws of supply and demand, that should tell me that that the prices should come down a little bit. Okay, now days on market should increase when we see the inventory increase and the demand go down. That is exactly what's happening. So from June through September, we see a double. Okay, we go from 13 to 26. Now I'm going to tell you this. 26 days in the market in real estate, that is not a lot of time. So what we're going to have to do is we are working on reconditioning our sellers to say, hey, look, you're not going to put your house up, and it's, the likelihood of it selling in a weekend is probably pretty slim. Now, there's a possibility that could happen if your house is awesome, if it's priced exactly right. We're going to market the heck out of it. You know what? But that buyer just might not come along. It might take a few weeks for that buyer to get here. So if you're thinking about selling, just know that it's slowing down a little bit, and it might take you a little bit longer to stay on the market. Okay. Now, what does that do to prices? Okay. So in the Woodlands, Our average sales prices, look at this. So we were in June, we were at 697. Then we pulled back a little bit in July. That's not a correction. Okay, that's just a little bit lower sales prices. And then we have a slight increase, all the way through September. Okay, I put a little trend line on here for you guys as well, so you can see what's trending. And you know what? We don't know what's going to happen with interest rates. That's obviously going to affect sales prices a little bit as we move forward. But if everything stays the same, we should trend where our prices keep increasing. Okay, you're not going to see like the crazy increases that you saw from here, to here, but we're still seeing a slight increase as we move forward. Okay, now what we are seeing, I'm getting calls all the time. Oh my gosh, we're seeing the market changing. Everything's coming down in price. Guys, what you're seeing is you're seeing list prices come down. Okay, so I made a little chart here for you, which is list price to sales price ratio. Okay, and this is actually the original sales price ratio. Okay, so what we saw back in May is we were seeing a 3.5% increase over this sales price or over the list price ratio. Okay, so what that means is that buyers on average are paying 3.5% over the list price. Okay, that cooled down a little bit in June. Cooled down a lot in July and August, okay? And so what we saw here, July and August, with those prices coming down, remember, our inventory caught up to our supply, our demand caught up to our supply right here, and then we started outpacing our demand with our inventory again, okay? So that's where these list prices start looking like they're coming down. Okay, what's happening is they're actually coming down to reality. Okay, now September, we saw it come down even more, back down to 98.8% of the list prices. Okay, so just to put that in perspective, a 681 list or sales price at a 98.8% ratio, that means that listing started at 695. So you list a house at 695, you sell it for 681. That's still pretty good, guys. As far as everything is go. But again, it's all relative. Okay, so if we're comparing it to what our neighbors are doing in the last 2 years, you know what? We might have missed the boat. However, if we've owned our house for more than 2 years, guys, we are making a ton of money when it is time to sell it, and that's a good thing for us, okay? Now, let's jump into South Montgomery County. This is excluding the Woodlands. This is zip code 77385 and 386. These are neighborhoods like Bender's Landing, Harmony, Spring Trails, the Falls, Imperial Oaks, Oak Ridge. It's that whole Rayford Road corridor that's on the east side of I-45, okay? So here's our supply and demand graph, and we've got the same kind of deal where we hit June and our inventory starts outpacing our demand. Okay, so you can see our sales go down, sales are coming down, and our active listings are going up. Now let me back up here. I took out all of the new construction on here. These are just resales on that side of the freeway. So that's what we're seeing right here. Now, again, we see, just like in the Woodlands, in our whole area, we see the days on market are increasing here as well. In fact, we are double from what we were back in June here as well. Okay, so again, it's going to take a little longer to sell your house than it was earlier this summer. Okay, pricing. In South Montgomery County, here's our trend line. We are still trending upward in pricing. In fact, we're healthily trending upward in pricing. This is a really good appreciation. And so I look at this and go, hey, look, if I bought a house a year ago, if I bought a house in September of 21, I was buying it right over here. What is that, about 360 or so? And now they're average selling for about 460. Okay, so in 1 year, that house has increased like 25%. That's awesome, y'all. Okay, so South Montgomery County is doing really, really, really well on pricing right now. And again, pay attention to what those list prices are doing. Okay, so the list prices, now our buyers are not paying crazy amounts over the list prices. As you can see, July and August, they come back down to paying at the list price and slightly below. And then September, we come down to paying about 97.8%, so we're right around that 2% reduction point right here, okay? So you can see that follows our inventory versus our demand, okay, supply, demand. This follows exactly what that looks like. Now, we'll tell you this, in our area, typically, over the last, 6, 7, 8 years, we've seen anywhere from a 3 to 5% average list price to sales price ratio. Okay, so we're kind of getting back into normal territory as far as that is concerned. So don't be alarmed when you see the neighbors' list prices coming down. That does not mean that the value of your house is decreasing. Okay, I'm just going to stress that. If you want more information about that, give me a call. I'll explain it more to you in person. Okay, so scary news. Welcome to Halloween time. It's October, Halloween time. So scary news. Pay attention to the local markets. Everything that you're seeing on the articles that are written on Forbes, CNN, Fox, Bloomberg, like whatever's out there, guys, those are all national trends, and they're getting information from Zillow, Redfin, National Association of Realtors. Those are all national data, okay? So if you take every part of the country and group it all together, yes, we're seeing a slight decrease in overall sales prices, but that, again, that's all over the country. Real estate is so micro-oriented, and it's very, very neighborhood specific, okay? Another thing to be aware of is the blogs and the news outlets. They're trying to get your clicks. So they're going to tell you things like, oh my gosh, we're seeing, 77% of markets are decreasing. They're going to do those things so that they get you to click on their article because that's where they make their money. So here's what I'm asking you to do. If you guys see scary things in the news and you're really concerned about what's happening with your home value, or, I was thinking about moving and, oh my gosh, it's going down. Everything's going down. It's not a good time to sell. Give us a call. Let's set up an appointment. Let's have a chat about what that actually looks like in your specific neighborhood, and let's see how that can help you and your family accomplish your goals. Guys, it's so good to talk to you. Looking forward to giving you guys another update, next month. And again, call us with questions, text us, shoot us an email. Check out our Facebook, guys. We're putting information up there all the time. We are here to help you out, and we love our people dearly. We hope you have an awesome October. Enjoy the great weather that we're having, and we'll see you next month.